So when you do a rod set, there's a very fine line between your grandmother's rod set and a more modern, useful looking rod set. I'm going to show you guys how you can get your best results on type 4 hair, and I'm going to give you a ton of tips along the way. So you make sure you watch the whole video so that you can catch all of the tips and get your best rod set, from what products I use to how I actually roll up my rods and how I define my edges and give my hair shape. So if you are ready for that, let's go. I'm starting out on stretched out hair. I washed my hair about a week ago and conditioned it and blow dried it, and I've been wearing it in this curly fro ever since then. So I still have a good stretch on my hair. Make sure you stretch your hair out first. I promise you it makes a difference, especially if you have type 4 hair. Now the product I'm using is my Braid Twist and Lock setting mousse. This is overall just a great mousse for any type of set style. You can use on braid outs, twist outs, rod sets, flexi rod sets, all of that. It's going to give you great hold, and the results are going to last for up to 2 weeks. But you're not going to have that hard cast that you would get from like a gel, and it dries really fast. So it's better than using like a styling cream. Styling creams dry very slowly, and gels are a little bit heavy, and they'll give you the results may be a little bit too defined, and you'll end up losing a lot of volume. So if you want to keep your volume, you want your hair to be soft to the touch and actually last throughout the weeks, this is the perfect product. So as I said, I'm going to be going for a tapered look. So I'm using smaller rods on the sides than I'll be using on the top. I'm using these small gray rods on the sides, and then I'll transition to larger purple rods on the top. So your rods that you use obviously don't have to be the same rods that I'm using here, but you do want to just make sure that whatever you put on the side, if you want this tapered look, whatever you put on the sides, just make sure that the ones that you put on the top are bigger. So when you go to secure your rods, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're smoothing your hair out once you put your mousse on. So you put your mousse on, and then you want to comb through with preferably a brush like the one that I'm using. You can also get this on my website at kellyloganhair.com, but it has a lot of fine teeth, so it smooths out your hair really well. And then you're going to just want to use your hands to further smooth out your hair and make sure you're pulling it nice and tight, so that when you set the rollers on, you can actually get that. You want the hair to be wrapped around smoothly and nice and tight. Also, if you see right here at the end of the hair, I'm pulling it a little bit once I get the rod on there to make sure that the tip of the hair is not sticking out straight, but it's actually rolling around the rod. So you want to do that and then roll it up nice and tight, and making sure that you're putting a little bit of tension on the rod as you roll up. Obviously not too much, but just a little bit of tension to make sure that your hair is going to be smooth all the way around the rod. And once you get to the top of the section and you're ready to secure your rod, make sure that when you secure the rod, it's nice and flush and taut up against your scalp. If it has any slack to move, that section of your hair is not going to take on the curl of the rod, but it's going to revert to your natural curl pattern. So then that's going to give you results where your roots are really fluffy, and then you have a curl on the end of the rod. So make sure these are nice and flush right up against your scalp. That is going to give you beautiful results. It is absolutely 100% worth the effort that it takes to make sure that these are nice and tight. This takes a significant amount of time to put these rods in, but you're going to get curls that last, and you're not going to have to touch your hair for 2 weeks. So make sure you put these rods in. How you set it is how you get it. So however your hair looks when you set the rod in place, if it looks fluffy and not smooth when you put the rods on, those are the results that you're going to get. So this is the next day. I sat under the hooded dryer for about 30 minutes. That's the hooded dryer behind me. I got that one from Amazon, and it works really well. So that's the hooded dryer that I have. I sat under there for 30 minutes, and it was probably dry at that point, but I didn't want to take any chances, because taking down rods and your hair is still wet, that is enough to ruin your day, and I wanted to have a good day. So I just slept in them. It was a little bit tough, but I made it through. So one thing I don't do that I see a lot of natural hair girls do is put oil on my hands as I'm taking down my rods. That's just a little bit counterintuitive for me. just because as a product formulator, I know that the oil in the products is what's going to break down some of those film forming agents. So I don't use oil anymore on when I'm separating my curls, and it actually, I have noticed a difference. My styles last longer, and especially with something like a mousse that's such a lightweight product, you don't want to put any heavy oils that are gonna cause that film or the cast on your hair to break down. Now, if you'll notice, I'm not really being very careful and gingerly about separating my curls. This mousse is just built different. It gives you such a great hold. I really, really want you guys to try it out. It is going to make a difference in your rod sets. So I'm separating these, but not being too careful about how I'm doing it, because as you'll see, my curls snap back and I'm not getting frizz on my curls, and that is always a good sign when you start separating your curls. If you're not getting frizz on the ends, that's how you know that your curls are going to last for a while. Now, one thing to note, the more you separate your hair, the more volume you're going to get. It's going to look nice and full. However, the more you separate your hair, also the more frizz you're going to get. So this is a nice strong cold of a mousse. So you really don't have to worry too much about frizz. You can separate your hair enough, 4 times, separate one section 4 times and still not get any frizz. But if you're separating beyond that and really like picking at it and doing too much, you'll start to see some frizz. I wanted to show y'all the back because there is a corner of my channel that hates when I don't show the back of my hairstyles. So I wanted to make sure I got that in. It was kind of an afterthought. You see, I was already taking the rods down, but I got it in there. And I want to warn y'all, when I take these rods down, okay, it's going to look cute. I'm going to have my curls, but you're going to notice there's going to be a little bit something missing. And that's where your shape comes in. Shape makes a style. Not only shape, but for me, baby hair. And I know there are going to be some of you that are like, oh, I don't do baby hair. I hate baby hair. You can do subtle ones. But for me, is what makes the style frame my face really well. Especially for my hairline. Like, some of y'all have beautiful hairlines. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but some of y'all have really beautiful hairlines, and it makes your hair frame your face perfectly. Unfortunately, I don't have that set up, so I have to make it work for my hairline. Specifically, I have to round out my hairline. I have a very square hairline, so I have to round out these certain points, and the only way to do that is to lay down my edges, because obviously those parts, even if you curl them, you're still going to have that same hairline. So in order to make my hairline look a little less harsh and more feminine, I round out these certain spots. So once I get the rollers out, that's only the beginning. You still have a little bit of work to do to add a little bit of, to finesse it a little bit and give it those final touches. So once I get the rollers out, I'm going to lay down my baby hairs and I'm going to pick it a little bit, and you'll notice that it makes a big difference. It's the difference, like I said, in your grandmother's rod set and a more modern take on a rod set. And even once I am up in my years, I am still going to want to do a modern take on hairstyles. I don't want to look like the church mothers from back in the day. I want my hairstyle to look like a contemporary take on a classic favorite, right? So eventually I'm going to get these rods down and I'm going to show you guys everything I did to elevate this style. All right, and you'll notice that the curls on the top are slightly bigger than the ones on the sides, and that gives it that nice shape. So I'm using my braid and lock gel to lay down my baby hairs. I could have used my edge control, but the braid and lock gel was like right there. And also I'm trying to get some more a softer look. So I didn't want anything too crazy. I didn't want them like completely glued to my face. So I'm using my braid and lock gel just to give myself some soft edges and just to kind of round out those corners. Now, when I did my final reveal, this was after I came back about 9 hours later and recorded the final reveal. And it was raining the entire day and I had to run a ton of errands, so it really put my mousse to the test. But I also wanted to show you guys that my edge control and my braid and lock gel, they do last all day. So you don't have to worry about your edges getting oily or softening up or not laying down for the whole day. They're gonna lay down for the whole day, but I wanted to also show you guys that the mousse is the truth. And like I said, it was raining. It's been raining for the past 5 days. I'm on day 5 of this hairstyle as I'm recording this right now, and baby, the curls are still intact. So get the mousse, get the braid and lock gel. I promise you, you won't regret it. And also, after you do your baby hair, you want to make sure that you do put a little bit of oil on your edges. I really didn't have too much product in my hair, so I didn't have any oil in my hair. So in order to avoid any kind of like white cast on your edges, just put a little bit of oil on your edges after you finish them, and that is going to prevent that white cast. All right, so now it's time for the fun part. This is my favorite part of the hairstyle, like picking it out and just further reinforcing that shape. Y'all, I've been loving these curls. I'm honestly gonna do this again this week and wear this style again. I really take advantage of the winter time when I'm not sweating too much, it's not too hot and humid outside, so you can really wear these loose hairstyles and get maximum longevity out of them, because in the summertime you're sweating, so these styles like this don't last too long. So that's when I typically wear like braids and twists. But loose curl season is upon us, y'all, and I'm taking full advantage. I'm gonna run this hairstyle back at least one time because it lasted so well and it was so cute. I am also going to be uploading some videos of my daughters with their loose curls and their style, so look forward to that, specifically my younger daughter because she's a little bit more open to rod sets. But that's it for this one, you guys. I hope y'all learned something from this video, and I hope you get an amazing rod set. Come back to this video and let me know how your rod set turned out. I always like to talk to you guys in the comments. But until next time, you guys enjoy.